We finally know the official order for the 2020 NBA draft. So in today's video, we're doing our first official mock draft. So if you guys like my content, make sure you like and subscribe. If you guys want to see your team draft LaMelo, hit that like button and let's hop into it. So in case you guys haven't seen the official order, we've got the Celtics at 14, the Pelicans at 13, the Sacramento Kings at 12, the Spurs at 11, the Suns at 10, and the Wizards at 9. All the teams we've said so far have landed at their projected placement. One of the most talked about placements following the lottery is the New York Knicks going down 2 spots to the 8th overall pick. The Pistons go down 2 spots to 7. The Hawks also go down 2 spots to 6. The Cavaliers fell 3 spots to number 5. The Bulls jump up 3 places to the 4th overall pick. The Hornets jump up 5 spots to 3. The Warriors fall down 1 place to 2. And finally, we've got the Minnesota Timberwolves landing the number 1 pick in the draft. This is one of the most interesting teams that could have landed here, as I think this season is kind of misleading of their position going into the future. They've got one, if not the best center in the league with Karl-Anthony Towns. They gave him a partner in crime with D'Angelo Russell. They might have really found something with Malik Beasley, who they got at the end of the season. And we still don't know what they have with last year's 6th overall pick, Jarrett Culver. Adding a number 1 overall selection to this group really changes the outlook of their future. There's a lot of teams at the top of the draft that I could see moving down or out of this draft, but I really don't see the Timberwolves doing that. This decision is going to come down to 2 guys, LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards. I truly couldn't see anyone else. Now, there actually is a chance, in my opinion, that they would draft LaMelo with how much upside he has and the fact that it's not out of the question him and D'Lo could figure it out in the backcourt. But as it stands right now, I do think they're going to go Anthony Edwards. Edwards is bringing extremely exciting two-way potential. He's a 6'5" shooting guard who, as a freshman this season at Georgia, averaged 19 points a game. He's had his struggles and by no means is a perfect prospect, but I'm not sure we even have one of those in this draft. At number 2, we've got the most dominant team of the past decade, the Golden State Warriors. Now, I'd be really surprised if they actually make a selection at number 2. This is a team that could be back to title contention as soon as next season. If they were to stay here and make a selection based on what they need, I think Onyeka Okongwu would be the right selection. But if it comes down to it and they're on the clock at number 2 without a trade, I think they draft LaMelo Ball. Not for what he can bring to this team, but for the value he has across the league compared to the other guys available, as they'll most likely to look to move him at a later date. If they dropped further in this draft, I think there would be a much higher chance at them actually making a selection. I just can't see it at number 2. Even if they landed at 3, I think that changes a lot of things. The 3rd overall pick in this draft, in my opinion, is worth far less than the 2nd overall pick, given the drop-off after LaMelo and Edwards come off the board. So because we're not projecting trades at 2, I'm going to have LaMelo for now. At number 3, we have the Charlotte Hornets, and there's a lot of directions they could go, but for now, I've got them going with James Wiseman. They've really started to build a solid young group with Devontae Graham, Miles Bridges, and PJ Washington. So in this draft, I've got them adding a top-tier big man. Now, it's a constant debate who is the better center prospect in this draft, Onyeka Okongwu or James Wiseman. As you've seen throughout my mocks, I really thought who would go first would depend on the draft order. With the Hornets in this situation, I think they look for more upside and get Wiseman, who definitely has holes in his game, but denying his potential would be pretty ridiculous, especially if he can prove himself as a floor spacer throughout the draft process. At number 4, we've got the Chicago Bulls. They finally get a pick higher than 7th overall, but sadly for them, it's one of the weaker drafts in recent history. This team is in such a weird place, as they've got a lot of solid young players. It's just hard to see them being able to contend anytime soon, and honestly, I don't think this pick changes that outlook very much. For now, I'm going to have them go with Deni Avdija. I think as we get a clearer idea of what this team's direction is going forward, we're going to get a better idea of where they could go with this pick. But for now, I do like Avdija. At face value, he's a good pick as you're not overcrowding any position on this rotation and projects to be both a very solid shooter and playmaker for his position, while having some of the most upside in this draft. At number 5, we've got the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have gone extremely guard heavy in recent drafts, and with Kevin Love and Andre Drummond on the roster, would make a lot of sense. There's just really not one for them to draft with Avdija off the board. So I'm gonna have them take a guy that just flew up the board in his sophomore season, athletic freak Obi Toppin, who I really feel is going underrated in this draft. At number 6, we've got the Atlanta Hawks, and man, did I want to see them jump to the top and be able to get their hands on Anthony Edwards, but sadly, that's not going to happen. This is one of the hardest to predict in this whole draft. Do they go with Onyeka after just trading for Capella? Do they take a chance on Okoro? It's tough. The selection might be pretty controversial, but for now, I actually like Killian Hayes. This team needs depth in the backcourt, and I think he offers quite a lot of positional flexibility. At number 7, we've got the Detroit Pistons in a tough position. They had hopes of getting LaMelo, and in this scenario, just missed out on Killian Hayes. So I think it comes down to a point guard like Halliburton or Cole Anthony, or taking the best player on the board with Onyeka Okongwu. It's not a flashy selection, and this team really does need a point guard, but I think they wait and give their top pick from a year ago, Sekou Doumbouya, a partner in the front court with Okongwu. Man, oh man, is it funny to see Knicks fans every year just assume that they're going to get everything. Last year, there was an uncalled for amount of fans that truly believed it was a lock for them just to get Zion Williamson, Kyrie Irving, and Durant all in one summer. This year, they just assume LaMelo was already on their roster for next season. They got a reality check during the lottery, only landing the 8th overall pick in that draft. Now, there's a legit chance that they actually move up. Maybe they target Golden State at 2, but at 8, I have them going with Iowa State point guard Tyrese Halliburton, a pick that's not extremely exciting, but I think the right one if they are here. At number 9, we've got the Washington basketball team, who could really go with like 10 different guys here. It's hard to know what this team is going to look like with the return of John Wall. I think they're going to have a lot of optimism, so I have them grabbing a guy that could play along their stars, one of the best 3-and-D wings in this draft, Devin Vassell. I was really excited to see where the Phoenix Suns would land in this draft, and was disappointed to see them stay put at 10. I really think Halliburton is the best key scenario for them right here, but he's off the board. I really think they're looking for a point guard, so I've got them taking the chance on the potential of RJ Hampton. At number 11 is the San Antonio Spurs, who I have taking Isaac Okoro. Now, this is a guy that could really go much higher if teams can get more confidence in his offensive upside based on what he projects to be as a defender. 12 is the Sacramento Kings, and I think some big trades are coming their way, but based on their situation as it stands right now, I've got them grabbing a knockdown shooting forward in Saddiq Bey, who in his sophomore season at Villanova averaged 16 points, shooting 45% from 3 on almost 6 attempts a game. Next up is the Pelicans at 13. It doesn't look like we're going to see the Ball brothers reunite in New Orleans, but I have the Pelicans getting one of my favorite prospects in this draft, Aaron Nesmith. Nesmith had his season cut short due to injury, but man, were his 14 games impressive. As a sophomore, he averaged 23 points, shooting 52% from 3 on over 8 attempts a game. Absolutely insane. I really think this team would benefit greatly from an elite floor spacer that could potentially play in the front court for them. Lastly, we've got the Boston Celtics. This team is going to be competing at the top of the Eastern Conference with or without this selection. Based on the fact that they took Romeo Langford last year, they could go with anyone here. I think it would be great if they could get a center, but there's just really not one for them to take without reaching, so I have them taking a hyper-athletic forward in Precious Achiuwa. But that's the video, guys. You guys give me your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and the shoutouts are gonna be Michael, King, Mob, Joseph, and Stuff. If you guys want to shout out the next video, all you gotta do is like the video and comment liked or rep notification squad, and I'll shout 5 of you guys out. With all that being said, hope you guys have a great day, and peace.